Good evening, students. Today we come to talk about the sources of eyelashes as you've seen projected. So the eyelashes under normal circumstances, you have the upper and the lower eyelashes. The upper eyelashes, they come forward and curve upwards. They are about 100 in number. Whereas the lower eyelashes, they move forward and curve downwards. So let's talk about eyelash disorders. The first one I want to draw your attention to is known as poliosis. Poliosis. Look at the eyelashes of this gentleman. They appear whitish. Okay? So, if you have eyelashes that appear whitish, this is known as what? Poliosis. There are several group of diseases which, when you have this type of problem with the eyelashes, can give way to those type of eyelash problems. But today the discussion should be limited onto disorders of the eyelashes, not to talk about the entities, the diseases, the systemic problems that when you have, we say, become a list of these. We are only talking about disorders, okay? So whitening of the eyelashes, as you've seen here, is known as what? Poliosis. Look at these other eyelashes, okay? You realize that instead of moving forward and curving upwards, they are rather turned backwards onto the ocular surface, impacting negatively on the cornea. So this is known as what? Prechiasis or trichiasis, okay? Prechiasis or trichiasis, as you've seen here. It's so demonstrative, okay? Right. But when we talk about trichiasis, it means that the eyelid is in its normal position. All right, the eyelid is it's in its normal position. Okay. Now, when we talk about pseudotrichiasis or pseudotrichiasis, what does that mean? To start with, there is an entropion. Entropion means that the eyelid margin has been turned inwards. If you look at the upper eyelid properly, it is in its normal position. Okay, but look at the lower eyelid. It's difficult to even find the margin of the lower eyelid. Why? Because it has been turned inwards. Being turned inwards means that it has been turned towards the eyeball. So, in that case, automatically it carries the eyelashes together with it. And you see the eyelashes impinging negatively on the ocular surface. So, in the case of pseudotrichiasis, the eyelid margin has automatically turned inwards. Although the eyelashes are in normal orientation, because the eyelid margin has been turned inwards, automatically the eyelashes find themselves impinging negatively on the ocular surface, and that is known as what? Pseudotrichiasis. Whereas in trichiasis, the eyelid margin is normal. It is rather the eyelashes which have been turned backwards onto the ocular surface. But in pseudotrichiasis, you realize that the eyelashes are in normal orientation naturally, but because the eyelid margins have been turned inwards, automatically the eyelashes find themselves impinging on the ocular surface, and that is known as what? Pseudotrichiasis. Let's talk about another entity. This is known as what? Dystichiasis. Dystichiasis. What is dystichiasis? Dystichiasis means that under normal circumstances, the eyelashes are in one row, one simple, beautiful row. When there is dystichiasis, it means that you have more than one row. You may have two or even three rows of eyelashes, as you can find here, okay? At the upper eyelid and upper eyelashes, you can find more than one row of eyelashes, and this is known as what? Distichiasis. Okay, that is it. Now, let's talk about trichomegaly. Trichomegaly. What is trichomegaly? If you don't understand anything at all, today you remember that tricho may refer to lashes, eyelashes, and megaly means big, or mega means big. So, trichomegaly, it means enlarged eyelashes. Enlarged in what sense? Right. When we talk about trichomegaly, it means that the eyelashes, one, they are elongated more than the normal eyelashes that we know. They are longer. Mathematically, a longer eyelash is said to be eyelash which measures more than 12 millimeters in length. So, when we talk about trichomegaly, one, the eyelash should be longer. In this case, we're talking about being longer than 12 millimeters. Well, you may not go and measure with a rule how long an eyelash is, but with practice, you realize if an eyelash really is longer than usual. Apart from being longer, a trichomegalic condition should have the eyelashes being thicker than the usual one and more pigmented. So, three characteristics: one, longer than usual; two, more pigmented than usual; and three, thicker than usual. As you can see, the eyelashes which this lady is wearing, you can realize that it is not only longer, but it is more pigmented and thicker, thereby receiving the name trichomegaly. Now, we have what we call madarosis. That's another type. Madarosis. What is madarosis? Look at the lower eyelid. Virtually there is no eyelash over there. And if you look at the upper eyelash, there's just a scanty, okay, few blemishes, virtually non-existent. So we call it madarosis. What does madarosis mean? It means reduced quantum or quantity of eyelashes, or even absent eyelashes, is called what? Madarosis. Madarosis. As I said initially, many of these, in fact, each of them have diseases that we can mention, that when you see madarosis, you think of disease A, B, C, D. But that is not the purpose of this lecture today. All right? It is just for you to know disorders of what? Eyelashes. And those who probably might not have seen what pantum is, this is the upper pantum, okay, through which telephone may pass. This upper pantum, right? Okay, all right. So, another disorder is called hypertrichosis. It's hypertrichosis. When you hear hypertrichosis, it could be localized or what? Generalized. There are individuals who naturally have a lot of hair, okay? And with hypertrichosis, I want to tell you that there's another word you should know: hirsutism. Hirsutism, okay? When you hear hirsutism, it is female related. If a female has more than usual hair distributed in several parts of the body, we say she's what? Hirsute, or she has what we call hirsutism. But when you hear of hypertrichosis, it refers to both males and females having more than usual distribution of what? Hair. It could be any part of the body, or sometimes what? Localized. In this particular circumstance, we are talking about what? Hypertrichosis of the what? Eyelashes. Okay? So, in hypertrichosis, all we need to say is that the eyelashes are what? More numerous than what? Normal. I said that in the upper lid, you should have at most 100. But here, you realize that you may have just more than 100. Okay? So that is known as what? Hypertrichosis. Another terminology you should know when it comes to eyelash disorders is known as what? Eyelash ptosis. Eyelash ptosis. Per previous class, the knowledge that was given you, when you hear ptosis, it means there's abnormal descent or drooping of some structure. So, in other words, eyelash ptosis means that the eyelash have drooped. They have drooped more than they should. Okay, look at this particular instance. All right, you realize that instead of the upper eyelash, and usually when you talk about eyelash ptosis, we refer to the upper eyelash. Okay, so look at this upper eyelash. Instead of coming forward and curving upwards, look, it comes down straight like that. It comes down just straight. So under such circumstance, we call it what? Eyelash ptosis. Look at another typical example of eyelash ptosis here. Instead of the eyelash coming forward and curving upwards, it is coming down straight like that. Okay, coming down straight like that. So under such circumstance, we call it what? Eyelash ptosis. So students, at this juncture, I want to bring my lecture to an end. Read on this several times, watch the YouTube, and make sure that you understand every bit of it. Once we meet in class, put down some of your difficulties and we're going to clarify them. So until we meet again, I wish you the best.